In New Zealand, they had firearms there. Last year, they tried to take the firearms from the people and give police more guns, and the people said, no, 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 we don't want this happening. And then now they've done this, and within 10 days, they've got the legislation passed. They're already raiding people at 2 o'clock in the morning and taking their guns now in New Zealand.
From Acapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. I have a multiple return guest coming on, a great guy. He's spoken at many Anarchapulcos, including this year, and he has a great show on YouTube under the channel Crow House, I believe is the main one. And he actually just got basically banned from YouTube, so I wanted to have him on. It's Max Igan, and I just wanted to mention right off the top, Max, that you've been doing some incredible work lately. I've really noticed you take up your game in the last year, and really I've noticed you can see in the view counts on YouTube, you've been getting 100,000 views, 200,000 views very regularly because you've been putting out such great information. And your most recent one was on the New Zealand, which I call a false flag event, that happened with that mosque shooting, and you really covered that. And then just in the last 24 hours, you received a notice that you can't upload for 3 months on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, very interesting. You know, I've been covering Christchurch a lot, and if you cover Christchurch, you cover the shooting there, that's it. You get deplatformed, you get banned. That's the way it's going. You could go and search on YouTube now for Christchurch false flag, and all you will find are mainstream reports about Christchurch. Anybody who's saying anything that does not support the mainstream narrative is getting shadow banned on YouTube. And I've been really trying to address the amount of disinformation that's been spread about this. I mean, I totally believe that Christchurch was a false flag event. It's not what they're telling us it was, but by saying it's false flag does not mean it was fake, does not mean people died. People have been blurring the lines between fake and false flag, what it means, you know. From the evidence that I can see from the video and my analysis of the video, and I've gone through it frame by frame, people died at this event. It was a real event, but it's not what they're telling us. It wasn't a lone gunman. It wasn't a single shooter. And the video actually reveals that there were multiple players at the event. It shows the handlers. You can see that there were other people there helping him, revealed on the video. But as soon as this video was released, within hours, there are reports coming out saying this is all fake, CGI shell casings, no bodies, all crisis actors, all this stuff. These details that you cannot prove, that you will argue back and forth about all you want, but it's damage control so that you won't look at the other details the video is showing you. And these reports that it was all fake and it was all crisis actors were actually coming out within hours because they really got caught with their hands in the cookie jar with this shooter's video. He was incredibly incompetent, this shooter. He was a real klutz, and he got a lot of extra players and a lot of extra stuff on the video that they really do not want you to see. And that's what I want people focusing on, all this stuff, whether it was fake, whether it was this, whether it was that. And not only that, it makes the truth community, the independent media, look like a bunch of conspiracy theorists who just pushing fake news. So this is going to be used to shut us down if we're not very careful. And it's a huge opportunity for us because they've been caught with their hands square in the cookie jar with this video. They really, really blew it with this shooter's video. There's so much revealed on it, Jeff. And because I'm reporting that, they've just shut me down. They've shut down my channel. I can't upload for 3 months. I actually appealed and I said, well, what's going on? Because the video they shut down, I mean, I uploaded a video and I went through point by point all the things that I found wrong with the Christchurch shooting. And then I thought, well, they've already got one strike against my channel. They'll probably give me another one for this. So I'm better off just deleting this video. It's already on BitChute now. So I'll just delete it and I'll upload a little 1-minute clip and let people know why I've deleted it and where they can go and find it. And they flagged that 1-minute clip, which was me talking and had a spinning yin and yang sign. They flagged that clip for having inappropriate content. I mean, this is a spinning yin and yang sign and it's spoken dialogue. I think they were just really, really pissed off that they didn't get to flag the previous clip that I deleted it before they could flag it. So they flagged this one. So I appealed that and I looked at my channel this morning and I'm getting mixed reports from the channel because I can go to the dashboard page and it says uploads are disabled for this channel. But then I can click upload and it says I can upload 15 minutes. So I don't know. I'm going to try tomorrow and see if I can just upload a 15-minute clip anyway, just to let people know that my actual show is going to be on my old channel, which is called AOD Scarecrow, which you can also find on YouTube. So this is the way it's going. They're deplatforming everybody. And this Christchurch shooting and the fake news meme that is going to go with it is going to be used to deplatform people. In New Zealand, they've already set up a hotline, an emergency hotline, after the emergency, of course, where people can ring up and report, what they think might be extremist activity. And what we're seeing is that an incredible amount of people are ringing up and reporting channels like Vinnie Eastwood, who's a truther in New Zealand. He's had the police visit his home 4 times in 4 days from people reporting him for spreading fake news about the Christchurch shooting. So you've got to say, and we've had blanket censorship come in Australia. BitChute's banned. I mean, so many sites we can't access now in Australia. You've got to use a VPN to get to them, all because of Christchurch. You've got people in the United States talking about gun control, all because of Christchurch. And the response of the independent media has been to attack all the victims and their families and say, you're all fake, you're all crisis actors and all this sort of stuff. So you can see how it's going to be played. They've set it up perfectly, and it's going to bring about total lockdown, and it's going to lock us out if we're not careful on how we're reporting on this event. And the speed as well. I mean, like I said, within hours of this shooting happening, there were reports that it was fake and it was CGI. And if you suggest anything otherwise in the accepted official mainstream or COINTEL independent media narrative that it's all fake, you get waves upon waves of trolls, hundreds and hundreds of trolls on my channel to tell me that I'm this and I'm an agent, I'm supporting the government, I'm supporting the state by saying it's a black op carried out by the state. I'm supporting the state by not saying it's all fake. So they won't tell me by how saying it's a state-run black op I'm supporting the state, where I can tell you exactly how saying it's CGI and fake is supporting the state and supporting the fake news meme and supporting the entire lockdown of the independent media. And there's just waves and armies of trolls to prevent this opinion getting out, which is why they've limited my channel and just blacklisted me and got me out and just sort of swept me under the carpet. That's what they do. They just brush the truth aside and put it in the back room so you can't find it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that for years now. Shadow banning, actual banning, just taking deplatforming, all that sort of things. Of anyone who's putting out any sort of truthful information, it's really quite amazing how fast they're getting, as well as you pointed out. For people out there who's kind of not sure about these sort of things, you're wondering, oh, false flag, that sounds strange. Well, 9/11 was a false flag event in order for the U.S. government and Israel and many other governments to get involved in the war of terror, which is still ongoing, with millions killed now. Even in Australia, where you are right now, Max, there was, I would believe it was Port Arthur back in the 90s. Is that yeah, that was the one. That was a false flag event. They just shot a bunch of people, and within, was it months or like weeks, they had pretty much banned all firearms in Australia.
Well, it's even been more so in New Zealand. In New Zealand, they had firearms there. Last year, they tried to take the firearms from the people and give police more guns, and the people said, no, we don't want this happening. And then now they've done this, and within 10 days, they've got the legislation passed. They're already raiding people at 2 o'clock in the morning and taking their guns now in New Zealand. It's incredible. They had the legislation, they had the gun legislation ready there within minutes of this event happening, like literally within minutes. This is a 600-page legislation. So they've got like typing really, really, really fast and thinking really, really,
just
really
like
fast.
The Patriot Act in 9/11.
Just getting this straight out there, like within minutes. And they've got it passed within 10 days. They even circumvented the gun lobby. The gun lobby didn't even have time to organise and even write out a form of complaint before the legislation's passed, and they're stealing people's guns so quick. It's just incredible.
Yeah, well, it's all planned ahead of time. So just like with 9/11, within days they had that phone book size Patriot Act all written. I don't know if anyone's ever dealt with lawyers and politicians. You can't write anything like that fast. So they had it already. And actually, Max, with the New Zealand shooting event or whatever happened there, the first I saw a post on Facebook. That's usually where I see something, and someone said, "Oh, some 50 people just got shot in New Zealand." So I just Google it. The very first thing that pops up is the Prime Murder of New Zealand, and she has a press conference, and the first thing she says is, well, I'll tell you one thing, gun laws are going to change. And it's been less than 2 weeks now, and I just saw a headline yesterday that New Zealanders are shocked at the rate with which legislation to take away guns is going through without any sort of public involvement.
Yeah, exactly. 10 days, it's all through. It's done. They're already raiding people's homes before the legislation was passed. Yeah, people need to really look at this. If you think of 9/11 as being the beginning of the end game, the big move that started the war on terror, what's happening in Christchurch is 9/11 2.0. This is the beginning of the final move of the end game. This Christchurch event, because it's sleepy, quiet little New Zealand, away from everywhere, nothing ever happens in New Zealand, and suddenly we have this mass shooting, and the suspect is your average white guy next door who never did anything to offend or hurt anybody that you just thought was just a normal guy. That's the enemy that you have to look out for. So you can see how they're playing this. This is the beginning of the end game now. This is the beginning of the final move. And it's a ripple effect. It's going to go out to all countries. It's already affected us majorly in Australia, had major effects in New Zealand already. It's going to come out, ripple effect across America. I mean, they're going to try to tie Trump into this. I mean, you know, the way they're doing it with everything. But sleepy little New Zealand where this could never happen. But when you consider the fake news meme that they created with Sandy Hook, you know, and how everyone's taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. All they had to do was stage Sandy Hook, and people say, oh, everything's fake. Nobody ever dies. Then you got Pizzagate, fake news. Now suddenly the truth movement is encouraging people to go and attack pizza stores because of their belief systems. And now we look at the terrorist manifesto that Brendan Tarrant's written for New Zealand, which looks like he's got environmentalism. He's got all sorts of stuff in there. It looks like basically an ideology of the truth movement, only it's peppered with all of this extremist rhetoric. So it makes you and I look like extremists, right-wing extremists. We're the people who influenced Brendan Tarrant to go and shoot up this mosque. And look what our response was when he did it. We started attacking all the victims and calling them crisis actors and saying it's all fake news and all of this stuff. And they've got it all set up perfectly for this to roll out. And it's perfect as well. They were having a terror drill in New Zealand called, and there's a company called, I think it's Crisis X was the name of the company. And what they specialize in is terror simulations. So they've got dummies there with squib packs and all the stuff they can do to simulate a terror event, so people can go in and they can see blood coming out of bodies and all sorts of stuff, all completely fake. They've got everything there in New Zealand, so all the conspiracy theorists could say, oh, that's what they used to do this event. But they didn't. This was a real event. But they got everything there to get the conspiracy world right on board so they can make up all this sorts of conjecture about it. Perfectly planned. They've had this months planned in advance for months. Even setting up the 8chan dialogue of Brendan Tarrant. You look at his 8chan chats and look at what he's saying in the chats. This is not the same person who wrote that manifesto. The manifesto is quite well written. Whether you like what it says or not, it's well written. You know, this isn't the same guy that's typing these ridiculous comments in 8chan. It's not the same person. It's not possible. You know, so they've set this up well in advance for this to happen. The profile in 8chan is just this down-home ochre Australian average guy with a bottle of Foster's. So, you know, they've set this whole thing up to vilify us and to vilify the average person next door. And it all goes back and ties into Sandy Hook and Pizzagate and the whole thing. This is a huge event in Christchurch. This is a major, major chess move that they've played, which is having a huge ripple effect. And they really desperately need people to buy into this it's all fake and CGI meme because of what else is revealed in the video. If people don't look at those details, then they're going to look at the real details. And if they look at the real details, then it's going to bring the government down. And that's the way counterintelligence works. You know, if there's a leak, you don't try to cover up the leak. You embellish the leak to the point that it becomes unbelievable, or you get people focusing on details of the leak that you tell them are important, which aren't, so that they don't look at the actual important details of the leak, which are the most relevant stuff. They just surround it with as much noise as they can. But you never try to cover it up, just embellish it. If you cover it up, it shows the people you're trying to hide it. So you just make it more and more and more and more, and suddenly the woman on the corner had an alien for a baby. You know what I mean? They just push it to the extreme that they can, you know. So people throw the baby out with the bathwater, but they're not looking at the relevant details of this. There's 5 relevant points of what happened in Christchurch. The fact that there are multiple players there you can see. The fact that there was a car that was there that left halfway through the proceedings. The fact that he was being alerted to the fact that there were people escaping from the perimeter on 3 different points that he had no line of sight to, and he dropped everything and ran there to get them. It shows that someone was alerting him to these things were happening. And the fact that you cannot gone to Al Noor Mosque, carried out 6 minutes of shooting, then driven all the way to Linwood Mosque and carried out an attack there, and then driven to where he was when the police rammed his car, all in the allotted time. It simply can't be done. So there's 5 points that show what the government is telling you is a lie, and Jacinda Ardern is disarming the people of New Zealand under false pretenses, and this is all clearly evidenced by the video itself. If we can just get rid of the smoke and mirrors, get rid of the noise, get rid of all this argument, and focus on the details of the video that do not require conjecture, do not require debate, they are all quite there, clearly provable, not open for debate at all evidenced by the video itself. If we can focus on that, we could bring this whole system down, because we can show exactly how they carry out these attacks, because they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They blew it so badly with the way they recorded this video. And there's so much evidence on it, and that's why it's illegal to watch it.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. That's been the most interesting aspect of this particular false flag. They always make major mistakes. I don't even know if it's on purpose or not. For example, 9/11, you can't knock down 3 buildings with 2 airplanes at free fall speed. There's thousands of architects and engineers who say that's impossible. There's no video of the plane hitting the pentagram. There's no plane in the field in Pennsylvania. So tons and tons of errors, or maybe they just think we're all so stupid they don't even care. And numerous other ones and other false flags as well where they make errors. This one was really interesting because apparently this guy live streamed it on Facebook, but then they tried to take it down from every single place you could find it. And within a day, they had made it illegal. And if you were to share that video, you were supposed to get something like 10 to 25 years in jail. And they arrested a guy that day. This all happened very fast. And you had a bit of an interesting theory on this video, and maybe it was an accident that it got released. What's your take on it?
Look, I think now I've looked further into it. I think they meant to live stream it, but the guy was such a klutz that they didn't mean him to get all the stuff that he got on camera. Like when he went into the room, he dropped all his magazines. He was constantly running back and forth. He just didn't get anything right. And there's too much stuff on the video that they didn't want you to see. I mean, they must be, the world police or the world government must be going, nah, bloody Kiwis, they can't even stage a false flag event properly, you know? Well, because the handlers are on there. That's the problem. That's why they pulled the video, and why it's 10 to 14 years jail if you watch it in New Zealand, 10 to 14 years jail if you share it, 10 to 14 years if you say anything about the video apart from negative, 10 to 14 years. Like stuff that I've done analysing the video and showing people where the extra players are, the people in New Zealand can't even watch my videos analysing the video, because if they do, they'll get 10 years jail. I mean, this is unprecedented. This video is completely banned, and the reason it's banned is because it shows the extra players. I mean, they really messed up with this video, because the guy, I mean, maybe he wasn't programmed well enough, but he was a complete klutz. It was a complete klutz. And the fact that they got the extra players, the fact that the car left halfway through, I mean, there's so much stuff there that shows it's not what they're telling us. It's not a single shooter. It's not possible that it was a single shooter. Even if it was one gunman doing it all, it's not possible that he was working alone, because we can see the other players on the video. You know, we can see this car leaving. We can see this guy standing by the wall. We can see a guy ushering him in the driveway. We can see the other players. So that's why they're so freaked out about it. You know, perhaps he wasn't supposed to turn the camera on that early or whatever. I don't know. But, I mean, obviously they meant to stream it because Facebook went down the day before. They wanted everybody's attention on Facebook. So I think they meant to stream it. I don't know. They just blew it. They blew it so badly. Yeah, I mean, I think they wanted to have the world's first social media murder, because they really want to bring in massive surveillance and monitoring on social media. But they just got all this extra stuff. I mean, I don't know what the reasons are. This is stuff we can speculate on, and I can't answer. All I know is what I can see on this video. And what I see is that the New Zealand government is lying through their teeth, and we've got them with their pants down. And if we can apply this to other ones, if we can apply the understanding we've got from this video and just consider that some of the other shootings we've seen around the world may well have been run in the same way, well, perhaps we can reach Joe Public out there and get them to see what we're really facing here. But at the moment, we're just looking like a bunch of idiots. We're just looking like a bunch of conspiracy theorists that are spreading disinformation and calling all these people crisis actors and saying everything's fake. And nobody's got any idea. This has all been called by people who weren't there. And all these points that you can't prove. You can't answer why the bodies were in the state that they were in, or where they were, or whether they were dead first, or whether there should have been more blood, or whether there should have been this, or whether there should have been that. It's all conjecture and speculation. But all the stuff that I've pointed out on this video is stuff that isn't conjecture and speculation. It shows the government did this, and that's what's important, you know.
Yeah, it's, if there's one bit of a bright side to all these videos coming out speculating on what actually happened. I remember before 9/11, I didn't know anyone who even thought anything like this was even possible. Even for years after 9/11, I'd talk about, I don't think it's what they said it was. And everyone's like, you're crazy. They said on the news it was this. And now most people just don't believe the news. And now there's so many people out there putting together pretty wild theories on what might have happened. I think in a way it's kind of good, but you have to wonder to what extent it's sort of COINTELPRO type stuff where they're trying to put out just incredibly ridiculous stuff so that if someone sees that and they hear, oh, Max and Jeff are talking about it, well, they must be crazy because that was the stupidest, craziest video I've ever seen. There's just no way that's possible. So the whole anyone questioning it must be crazy.
Yeah, it's poisoning the well. It's what they do, and I've seen sites that have put out, I watched an incredible article. I read an amazing article by Robert Steele the other day. David Robert Steele. First half of the article, brilliant. Told you exactly what the state's doing, told you about the surveillance, told you exactly where we're going. Then the last half of the article was all about how everything in this shooting is fake. It's all CGI shell casings, no victims, no blood, no bodies, all this stuff which is completely provable disinformation, which is how counterintelligence works. They give you all the good stuff and they tell you exactly what's going on. And then the last half of the article is all this conspiracy stuff, which will cause you to throw the first half of the article away, throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's how it works. Like I said, you don't cover up a leak. You embellish it to the point that it's unbelievable. And then it makes people like you and I sound like we're supporting this other stuff that's all been thrown in with it. Just add more and more to it, more and more to it. Like I said, until the girl down the corner has just had an alien for a baby, so that everybody throws everything away. That's what they do. That's classic counterintelligence. And the beauty of this is the speed that the COINTEL narrative was launched. Like I said, within hours of this video coming out, because of what this video actually reveals. They desperately want people to be focusing on all these other little points that they can't prove, that they will argue about back and forth forever and ever, and not look at the fact that there are extra players there, not look at the stuff that's happening in your peripheral vision. Focus on all these these things that they tell you are important, which aren't. That's counterintelligence. And in a way, it's a gift, because the huge counterintelligence movement within the independent media has fully exposed themselves by their misreporting on this video, because all you've got to do is look at the video yourself to see that what they're bringing out, what they're giving you is not misinterpretations. It's not mistakes. These are outright lies that are provably outright lies. And I'll say right now, I did 10 years work or 7 years work. I worked at film studios here on the Gold Coast in Australia. I've worked on Dark City. I worked on Pitch Black. I worked on Thornburs, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Babe 2, Lethal Weapon 3. I've done a lot of work in films in my old days. I've done a lot of special effects. Since then, I've done 10 years work video editing, CGI, all the stuff I do on my video clips. And I've analysed this film, all 20,319 frames of this shooter's video. And I'll tell you right now, there's no special effects in it. There's no CGI. What we're dealing with is choppy bandwidth. This is a real video. It's real shootings. Whether some people in the room were already dead, where the bodies were brought in there and handlers brought them in and the handlers were shot, or these are points we can debate and speculate on all we want. I don't know. Maybe it was just people who hid in the corner. I don't know. Nobody knows. And these are not points that we want to get bogged down and debate about, because they're points we can't prove. What we can prove is there were handlers there. There were extra people involved, and the government's lying. And that's important. That's incredibly important, because this is the first time that we've ever got a false flag event on tape and we can see the extra players. We can speculate what happened on 9/11 and stuff, and it makes perfect sense that it could not have been the government story. But we can't show anything to actually confirm that there were other people there doing what we suggest they were doing. But in this Christchurch video, we can. We don't have to speculate. There they are. There's the guy standing by the wall. There he is. He ran back over the tree. Someone's trying to call me. There he was. He ran back under the tree. I mean, we can see all of this stuff on the video. It's not open for conjecture. This is unique. This is a gift to us. And it's also a gift that the COINTEL narrative has had to launch itself so quickly and snowball this whole fake claim out there, because these guys have exposed themselves as well. Now we can see where these fake narratives are coming from. And all it's going to require for people to go through this is to think for themselves and realize that what this is about is truth and freedom. And if you're out there and you really want to make a difference in the world, that's what this is about. It's not about making a name for yourself. It isn't a popularity contest. It isn't about who's got the scoop first or who wants to sell their books or DVDs or get you to come and subscribe to their website or any of that shit. It's about freedom. This is about freedom, and it's about truth, and it's about finding a way to improve the human condition. And if we can get that focus, this is a gift to us. This whole thing, the way it's played out, is a gift. Because now we can see the players, now we can see how it's done, and now we've got the evidence, all the evidence we need that the governments are full of shit. They're all lying. So, let's seize this by the horns and do the right thing with it, Jeff.
Yeah, totally. It's been trying for a while. It's kind of funny how people are. I think in some ways people feel a bit helpless, right? Like if you're sitting there in the U.S. and you've looked into it and you're like, yeah, that was definitely a government false flag event. What can you do about it, right? That's sort of like a big question I think a lot of people have is, we know they're doing all these things. We know it's a massive problem. What can we do about it?
Well, awareness, support each other, support each other. I mean, all of this it happens because of our respect for authority, and we're too scared to stand up to it, because when we do, we stand up by ourselves. We get banged on the head because we've never really connected with the people around us. We don't have any groundswell in the community because, obviously we don't respect ourselves enough to actually respect other people. And that's why it always comes back to the self, comes back to the discovery of the self. I mean, I've been saying this for years and years. Once you really know yourself and you know who you are, you question these people. You realize that they're just people. They don't have any authority over you. And a true respect for yourself, if you can truly love yourself, then respect and love and compassion for other people comes by default. You start to realize that they're in the same boat as you. And suddenly we have this huge groundswell of community who will stand against this. And all we have to do is say no. It isn't like we have to have a revolution and march down the street with guns or go and have a protest or anything. I mean, all these protests do is, they're okay to show a show of solidarity so there's other people around that think like you, but they don't ever get anywhere. You just make yourself a target. You go down the street and you march with your placard, and then the riot police come along and they just beat you all up. Now, the riot police, they come to start a riot. That's why they're called the riot police. And all the violence of these protests is always started by the police. That's why they come. So why go and do it? The best protest you could do is stay home. Stop complying. Imagine if the whole world stayed home for a day and didn't spend any credit cards and didn't use any money and didn't use the banking system and didn't go and shop and buy gas or any of that stuff. If they all just stayed home with their families for a day, imagine what would happen. It would send a shockwave around the entire world. The best form of non-compliance and the best form of rebellion against this system is to love people and to love yourself, to love those around you and support those around you. And once you do that, the system goes away. Now, we don't actually need these people. The only reason we need government is to protect us from the other governments, It's the same, it's a scam. War and terrorism, threat from the other country. Well, it's not the other country. The other country isn't going to march over here and hurt you. It's the government. It's your government and that government saying, hey, let's have a little face-off with each other and scare the shit out of all our people. That's all it is. It's a scam. All of these wars, it's just the governments that do it all. I look at the world and I view it as, people have to step back and realize that we don't really have governments. What we have is a multinational, multi-generational criminal cabal, which is masquerading as governments in all our countries, and they play each other off against each other. Who wants to play the enemy this week so they can put the shits out of our people? That's all they do. And every country you go to, the people in the country live in fear of terrorism from the people next door, and they live in fear of their own governments. But their governments will tell them, this is the place you need to be. All the economies are collapsing everywhere else. We're got the stronger country. We're the ones that are going forward. Don't go there. So it's all better here. Everywhere you go, it's all the same. It's the same story. Doesn't matter which country you're in. And they all work together to do it. It's a scam. It's a scam. We just got these bunch of criminals that have put themselves in place and they're puppeteering the whole thing and they're pretending to be government. And all they're doing is keeping us safe from the other governments. It's ridiculous. It's a complete scam. Anarchy is the way to go, Jeff. You know that. Really self-governance, folks. We don't need these people. Just realize who and what we are. That's the way out of this mess. There is no other way out of it. There's no political solution. There's no revolutionary solution. Clear thinking is the most revolutionary action you can carry out. Being yourself and loving the people around you is a revolutionary act. And that's how to get out of the mess. But I mean, you try to tell that to people and they want to sit there and just watch it all happen and get told that it's safe to go outside now. They want the world to change, but they don't really want to participate in making that change. So that little statement you're saying, who wants to change? Who wants to change? Who wants to see change? Yes, yes. Who wants to change? Oh, it's the same thing. That's where it comes from, Jeff. It comes from us. We don't actually have to do any of this. This whole system is just an idea that somebody had. And we've just been taught to go along with it because we're too scared to do anything else. We're too scared to really be ourselves and see the beauty of ourselves. People want freedom, but they don't want self-responsibility. And really, it's one and the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think people realize how deep this all goes, and you pointed out a lot of it there. A lot of people think, "Oh, Russia's going, they might go to war with the U.S." It's like the same people run all the countries. It's actually one of the most ingenious scams. It's like the most ingenious scam I've ever heard of. Enslave the entire planet, make it so hardly anyone even knows they're slaves. Take about half of everything that everyone makes, and actually have them groveling and thanking you for it. It's unbelievable scam. But as you pointed out, as people start to wake up and they start to realize who they are and they start to take back their own power and say, no one has authority over me, things will change. So we'll see what happens. We'll also see if this channel's online after this video, because apparently a lot of things talking about this Christchurch shooting are being taken down. So we'll find out that. So that's a bit of the last question here, Max, is where are you otherwise, other than YouTube? Where can we see all of your great content now? And you pointed out BitChute has been banned by Australia, so they're already starting to figure out where these decentralized platforms are and banning them on a countrywide level. So we've got our work out for us to stay one step ahead of them.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for other platforms to upload videos to, but BitChute, I mean, you can access BitChute if you use a VPN, but it's banned in Australia here under normal circumstances. I've got my other YouTube channel. My website, thecrowhouse.com, will be there as long as it can be, until they take that down. But people have to realize how we're being played with all this and where it's going. I mean, the truth is getting harder and harder to find. And I'll just stay online as long as I can, and I will do everything I can to keep the word coming out. But at the moment, I mean, the AOD Scarecrow channel, just go to my website, thecrowhouse.com, see what you can get from there. And we will find other platforms. But if people like us can, network together and just keep an eye on each other, I think it's really important that people keep an eye on Vinnie Eastwood at the moment. Whether you like Vinnie or not, Vinnie's got weird humour that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. But he's on the front line at the moment. He's the only independent media personality in New Zealand. He's had the police visit him 4 times in 4 days simply because of his reporting on this event. And he needs our attention and support at the moment, because if Vinnie just drops offline, we need to notice that, and we need to look out for him because he's one of our own. And we need to look out for our own. The net is closing, and people need to realise that. We can still get out of this, but we have to stand strong and be prepared to speak the truth. But don't let conjecture and speculation get in the way of the truth. Watch out for all of this stuff that you're pushing. Watch out for the fake news, man. Watch out for where you're being led. Think for yourself through all of this. It's so important. I cannot overstate the importance of this Christchurch massacre, how it's going to affect the entire world, and already is affecting the entire world. Blanket censorship is coming. We will find other platforms. I mean, we'll be out there. Just look. We'll be out there. You'll find us. Whatever happens to take us away, we'll find some way through it, and the message will continue. Hopefully, it won't have to continue for that long. Hopefully, it'll get so in your face soon that people will actually see it, and they'll see the need to make change and stand up for themselves. They'll see where they're being led. But it's getting pretty ugly. The rollout of 5G. 5G is coming online in my neighbourhood now, so it's just getting ugly. I'm going to try to tell the people about it, and they're all happy that it's coming. I think it's a good thing. It's going to be good for us. And I show them the specs, and they're just glazed over their eyes. I mean, we do what we can. It's just the way it is, folks. No stake in the outcome. It's an interesting ride, but it's going to get a lot crazier yet. So buckle up, folks. We ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah, but you'll find everything about me on thecrowhouse.com, and that's the best I can do at the moment. I don't know what future platforms we'll have, but we'll find them. They'll be there. I certainly don't expect my channel to last on YouTube too much longer. That'll be 175,000 subscribers and 11 years work down the YouTube. but that's the way it goes, you know. I've still got it all backed up. I can post it again somewhere.
Yeah, that's great. As far as Vinny Eastwood, I did see some of his videos and coverage of the event, and I thought it was great. I think he's got a great show. If you're interested in this topic, look into his channel. I think it's still up, although I heard it might be. I saw it go down or something at one point.
He got his channel penalised, but apparently he can live stream. He's back up to his main channel again now. So hopefully that will happen to mine. Hopefully they'll give me my channel back again soon. We'll just see. But I'm going to try to upload a short video tomorrow anyway, and just see if it takes. But if not, then I'll be on my AOD Scarecrow channel. But his main channel is back up now, so that's a good thing.
That's great. And Max pointed out he has a website. I would say for anyone whose content you really like, make sure you go to their website, make sure you sign up for their email list and things like that. I don't know if you have one, Max, but we do at Anarcast and the Dollar Vigilante. So just go to either of our websites and just type in your email. And then whenever we have a new video or any information, we send it out. So if we're kicked off of YouTube and you can't find us on BitChute because it's banned in your country and you can't get the VPN working, we'll tell you where you can go to get the content. So as Max said, they're going to keep trying to stop us, and we're going to keep trying to find ways around it, and they'll actually just end up making us stronger in the end, in my opinion. But it is a back and forth battle, so make sure that you do subscribe directly to people's channel, their websites, in case they do go down, like Max. We'll find out probably tomorrow if he's been shut down for the next 3 months of uploading or not. And Max, if you do have sites that you do upload to that you didn't mention, just send me the links. We'll put that down below. Anarcast and Dollar Vigilante videos, we put them on BitChute, BitTube, all kinds of sites. We'll have those down below, just so you know, in case we do get shut down after this video. And as Max was saying, I'm expecting to get shut down fairly soon too. Everyone's getting shut down now. So, you know, if you want to keep in the loop, you want to keep getting this sort of content, make sure you get active and just go to our websites and keep in touch with us. And that'll be probably one of the better ways to keep in touch in the future. So, Max, any last words before I let you go?
No, all good, Jeff. Thanks for having me on, brother. And stay safe, people. These are desperate and dangerous times, and stay safe through the whole thing. And remember to, support the people around you, help the people around you. The power of community can achieve amazing things. And the fat lady hasn't sung yet. She's warming up in the back room, though, so we need to pay attention. Thanks for having me on, brother. Absolute pleasure to talk to you again, and I'll see you at Acapulco next year.
Awesome. Yeah, you did a great speech this year. I should point out all speeches on Acapulco are available for sale now. We'll have the link to that down below, including Max's speech and about 50 or 100 other amazing ones. So check that out. And it's just going to be interesting times. I would just say to people out there, don't get too fear-based. That's really what they want from most people, and they really live off of that fear. Be aware of what's going on, improve your life, get connected, as Max said, get connected with your family, your friends, do things outside of the system, whether you're using cryptocurrencies instead of fiat currencies and things like that. But don't live in fear. There's really nothing to fear in the end, in my opinion. But it's very interesting times. Thank you very much, Max, for coming on. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share down below. Not that we're going to be on YouTube much longer. And that's it for Anarcast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
Your rights to say what you want, think what you want, raise your kids the way you want, transact with who you want, and put what you want into your body are under attack. There's never been a time in history when this was more true than today. But at the same time, there's been an awakening of people like you who recognize that freedom is within reach, and they're turning the tables on the global elite. That's why, for the last 4 years, thousands of freethinkers and voluntarists like you had made the journey to Acapulco, Mexico to learn, interact, and create more freedom in their own lives. You may not have made it to the event, or if you did, you're likely to want to experience it again and again in your own home. I'm talking about 4 action-packed days of exciting, informed, expert speakers, all of whom are at the top of their game and all icons in the freedom and liberty movements. Visit anarchapulco.com/2019 VOD now to experience Anarchapulco and Cryptopulco 2019 as many times as you want, from the comfort of your own home or office.